Don't get mad at me. This is Mike Mitchell's XFL 2023 preseason power ranking. The league's teams rank from the worst to the first. Mike Mitchell put this together. Remember, this is preseason. We don't know much about nothing. If you're going to get mad at anybody, I am just the bearer of the news. Our XFL insider, the GOAT, Mike Mitchell, is breaking it down for you. So a little over 4 weeks from the XFL season, which will begin Saturday, February 18th on ABC. The Rod Woodson-led Las Vegas Vipers will clash with Bob Stoops Renegades in Arlington to kick things off of the reemerged XFL. Season tickets are on sale now. Starting from ground zero, although the XFL is technically resurfaced after a 3-year hiatus with some returning cities, team names, players, and coaches, the reality is that the entire league is starting from scratch. The league's centralized training camp is in Texas, is in full swing, as all 8 XFL teams undergo a steep learning curve in preparation for a 10-week regular season. The ancient saying that practice makes perfect doesn't apply in this situation because immediate perfection is not a realistic goal. Establishing a team's identity, building continuity will be a work in progress, particularly in the early part of the XFL season. So it seems highly premature and foolhardily to proceed with a preliminary power ranking list for 8 teams who have never played a game. It begs the question, how does one rank? What are essentially 8 branded new pro football expansion teams? Not only are these teams getting to know each other for the first time, but the same can be stated for anyone who is following the process. After careful analyzing every team's coaching staff, front office, and player roster, then based on a criteria for which those combined factors, here is Mike Mitchell's preseason power rankings for the 8 XFL teams from 8 to 1. This will likely age poorly over time, so here it goes. At number 8, the Orlando Guardians. The law of averages suggests that someone has to, for lack of a better term, will suck in XFL 2023 based on their roster composition. To Mike Mitchell, the Orlando Guardians have appearance of a team headed for a 2-8 type 2023 campaign. Terrell Buckley's Guardians squad can make this ranking look foolish when the smoke clears in May. As the legendary Chris Berman said, that's why we play these games. But for now, on paper, Orlando appears to be the weakest XFL team. But chief among them is the uncertainty surrounding the Guardians' coaching staff and quarterback position. Consists of DeAndre Francois, Mitch Kidd, who I think recently got cut, and Quentin Dormandy, 3 talented, unproven proven signal callers with a limited body of work playing pro football. You can get all this detail but he's got them at number 8. He goes into detail. Number 7, the St. Louis Battlehawks. Caw is not the law, apparently. The truth of the matter is the XFL teams ranked from 7th to 3 on this list are very comparable. The Battlehawks have a lot of things going in their favor. The QB room is sound. A.J. McCarron provides valuable leadership and experience, and very quietly, Ryan Willis has been one of the better quarterbacks in spring pro football in the last couple of years. However, like the Guardians, St. Louis inexperience from first-timers and head coach Anthony Beck to coordinators Bruce Gradkowski and Donnie Abraham on defense work against them. Until this group proves itself in its first go-around on the pro level, it's challenging to stack the Battlehawks in a higher position than other more established and experienced coaching staffs in the league. Admittedly, the early signs are incredibly favorable for Anthony Beck, who has been displaying outstanding leadership since he was hired as St. Louis football coach. Number 6, he's got the Vegas Vipers. There's a lot he likes about the Vegas Vipers. They have a strong QB room with Luis Perez and probably the best player football casuals have never heard of in Brian Scott. The latter has MVP potential. On the surface, despite having never been a head coach on any level, Rod Woodson has all the makings of a great leader, but like most aspects of XFL 2023, the Hall of Fame great is an unknown entity when it comes to a head coach. One thing is for sure, the Vipers' coaching of defensive backs could be the best in the league, with Chris Dishman coming off a great run in the USFL as the New Jersey Generals DC and Darren Perry, no relation, coaching up the secondary. The trio of Woodson, Dishman, and Perry should be highly beneficial to the Vipers' young defensive backs. Number 5, Houston Roughnecks. It's challenging not to rank the Houston higher because of their head coach, Wade Phillips, based on his impressive resume, particularly on defense and the staff he put together on the side of the ball with vets like Brian Stewart. You can pretty much guarantee the Roughnecks' defense is going to be good based on their team's expertise in this area. The real question will be the level of play Houston gets on offense with innovative young play caller like A.J. Smith. The Roughnecks took a bit of a hit when assigned quarterback Ben Kurt bowed out of playing in the league because of the desire not to move his family to Texas. Former 7th-round NFL pick Cole McDonald and promising rookie Caleb Ellerby will determine how far Houston goes in 2023. The XFL South, comprised of 3 strong Texas-based teams, will be very tough, and the quality of QB play will decide who emerges from that division by season's end. Now we're through the halfway point. Number 4, Seattle Sea Dragons. From top to bottom, from the front office to coaching staff to players, the Dragons are lined up nicely for success in 2023. Few XFL teams have the built-in advantage that Seattle does with DPP Randy Mueller, head coach Jim Haslett, offensive coordinator June Jones. For you fantasy nerds out there, I am telling you the first week, hang with the Seattle Sea Dragons because they got June Jones, and we saw what he did with the Houston Roughnecks. That's Mark's take. All 3 have great success in alternative pro football leagues and working together in the past. Mueller and Jones built a powerhouse 3 years ago in XFL Houston. Haslett and Mueller both won prestigious awards as NFL head coach and executive of the year. The shared experiences and successes are invaluable tools. The focus on Seattle's offense will be on Ben DiNucci and Josh Gordon, 2 of recent NFL players, but the defensive coordinator Ron Zook, another Haslett ally, could be making the difference as how far the Dragons soar in 2023. Number 3, the San Antonio Brahmas. Yeah, there's a lot to love about the Brahmas, from the team's great and bold look to the great city they are playing in, to Hines Ward as their leader. The Horns are definitely pointing forward for San Antonio. Experienced personnel man Will Lewis has done a great job putting together the Brahmas roster. One of the best aspects of the team is its deep QB room. With NFL players like Reed Sinnett and Jack Cohen, either player could end up being the best QB in the XFL. Listen to that, fantasy nerds. Reed Sinnett, Jack Cohen, either player could end up being the best QB in the XFL. Jamie Elizondo and Jim Herman are experienced coordinators who've had a great success in this space. Both coaches have reunited with several players they have coached in other pro leagues, giving them an advantage over XFL teams going through the learning curve, working together for the first time. Number 2, America's team, the DC Defenders. Synergy is a significant theme on the ranking list, and Reggie Barlow has that in place with Defenders offensive coordinator Fred Cass. The 2 have paired together in college ranks with outstanding success, especially in running the football. Cass' offense have routinely averaged over 200 yards per game on the ground, and in the process produced NFL players. This is something to keep in mind, you fantasy nerds, that DC's running back could be the key as a guy that you put on. So you get the quarterback from Seattle, and then you get the running back from DC. Just something to think about when you're playing fantasy football over at newshubfantasy.com. And few XFL teams have the perfect marriage of player talent and scheme that DC has going for them. That's a testament to DPP Vaughn Hutchins and the work of the entire Defender staff. For starters, the Defenders have a solid 3-headed quarterback room with USFL 2022 leading passer Jordan Tamu, Derek King, and Eric Dungy. All 3 players are perfect scheme fits and a spread-out run-pass option attack. It's easy to see a scenario where all 3 quarterbacks get on the field and play. King and Dungy will be challenging to keep off the field. The mobile duo can be a poor man's Kyler Murray / Taysom Hill type combo based on their unique skill sets. DC also has one of the deepest backfields in the league, with the nation's 5th leading rusher, Baylor's Abram Smith, Raquel Armstead, Puka Williams, and Artavis Pierce. So that's just something to keep in mind there. Plus, remember, they have Greg Williams as their defensive coordinator. And I agree with Mike Mitchell on these 2, because the last one is the Arlington Renegades. Chemistry, pass connections are essential in new pro football leagues. When it comes to spring pro football, there may not be a better coaching team up than what we have seen with the 2023 Renegade staff headed by Bob Stoops. It's no secret that things didn't quite work out for Stoops and his 2-3 Renegades team in 2020, and his pairing with legendary offensive coordinator Hal Mumme. Remember Hal Mumme broke his leg on the sideline? But the revamped Stoops staff in Arlington seems to be a perfect marriage. Firstly, Stoops is reunited with his Iowa and OU college colleague Jonathan Hayes. The former Battlehawks head coach brings along with him Chuck Long. The 2 former St. Louis coaches will team up as co-offensive coordinators. Plus, on the other side of the ball, Tim Lewis and Jay Hayes reunite from their St. Louis days as co-defensive coordinators in Arlington. Tim Lewis is one of the best secondary coaches on the planet, as evidenced by the fact that the Carolina Panthers drafted Battlehawk safety Kenny Robinson in 2020. Lewis, who once upon a time a great DB himself, has a proven track record coaching in multiple pro leagues. They got Scott Spurrier, all sorts of stuff. So there you go with the Arlington Renegades. Plus, they have veteran players like Will Hill, Raheem Moore, Devontae Busby. But the two players Mueller acquired and paired up that could be the most impact are QB Kyle Sloter and Sal Cannella. They were huge in the USFL, great chemistry, and they have a good, great chemistry in the USFL, basically. Plus, they got specialists in punter Marquette King and kicker Taylor Russolino. So he has got them at number 1. So to recap, Mike Mitchell's way too early preseason XFL power rankings. Number 8, Orlando Guardians. You can't say because it's in Orlando, not New York. St. Louis Battlehawks could call. It's apparently not the law for Mike Mitchell. You can get him mad at him for that. Number 6, Las Vegas Vipers. Number 5, Houston Roughnecks. Number 4, Seattle Sea Dragons. Number 3, San Antonio Brahmas. This one I think is a little high. I might have dropped them down a little bit. I'm not sure about the Brahmas. DC Defenders at number 2. I'm with you there. And, of course, number 1, Arlington Renegades. So, do you think Mike Mitchell has it right? Do he has it wrong? Let us know in the comments. What is your way too early XFL 2023 preseason power ranking? Let us know in the comments.